What do you do confidently now that made you feel weird in the past? Asking people to pay back money they borrowed. Back in my senior year of college, I used to dread asking my roommates to give me the money for the bills. No idea why, since that's what they agreed to. I just felt like such an asshole for doing so. That's what they do. Make you feel awkward / like an asshole for asking for what's rightfully your second year college. I'll lend a friend $100 and he kept telling me he was broke. Then I hear he dropped $300 on a new stereo. I never got the money back, but I learned a valuable lesson. Walking down the street, realizing I was going in the wrong direction, and making a U-turn without pretending to have forgotten something. Same here. My old tactic, since the cell phone era began, was to stop in front of some building, look around like I was waiting for someone, and pretend to call or text that person until I was certain that anyone who might have seen me was well out of distance before turning around. I just say for frick's sake and turn around. Generally I turn around because I've forgotten something, and then everyone in the area knows my pain and gets it. Going out for a meal on my own. Thank you for this one. You reminded me of the first time I did this, when I was about 20 years old. Moved into a new neighborhood and really wanted to try this cute little place down the street from my apartment, but was solo. Put it off too many nights to admit, until finally said frick it, grabbed a book, got a table, and had the 4-course prix fixe menu, and I loved it. I was super nervous and embarrassed, but ended up having a pretty damn fine time. Ends up I'm okay company. Doing things alone is the best. Was so liberating when I could finally ask my GF if she'd wanna go see a movie with me. She'd say she didn't wanna see that one, and I'd say, okay, be back in a few hours. Wear a mask over my face entering a bank to get the money. Me too. Now I just need to get more confident about the gun. The attention it brings is just too much for me right now. And my pants are a bit stiff. How am I gonna make a quick getaway now? Go out in public and be around crowds. When I first started using a wheelchair, I was hyper aware of people staring at me, avoiding getting near me, or acting strange when interacting with me. Decades of being a wheelchair user have desensitized me to all that. Hardly notice now. Thank God to hear this. Due to a procedure, I was temporarily in a wheelchair, and boy do I have even more respect for anyone on wheels. I felt like I was in the biggest fishbowl just getting groceries. I was a total pariah and stared at, and exactly the same as you said, how weirded out people got talking to me. On the flip side, everybody ran to get doors for me, or carry something I was perfectly capable of carrying. So glad to hear the awkwardness goes away. I had to be in a wheelchair at EDC, and I got so many more hugs and candy than I've ever gotten before. The worst part though was the way people seemed to pity me. Don't know how many times I got told how brave I was. Buying condoms. I remember one of the first times I bought some. My girlfriend at the time wouldn't accompany me to the register because she was embarrassed. I purchased that lone item. The guy ringing me up said, "Have a nice day." I responded, "Oh, I will," with a wink and a smile. He got a laugh. At the end of the day, you gotta remember you're preparing to get laid. Don't be embarrassed about that. I was dead as a teen to buy condoms. Imagine a fat kid with a bowl cut with an innocent stupid face coming in and placing a pack of condoms on the counter. I don't remember how the cashier felt, but my friends were dying from laughter. Then we all opened it and played balloon. Swim without a shirt on. My sisters made fun of how I looked without a shirt on when I was like 12, and it stuck with me for years. Just the other day I went to the beach and realized that I finally don't care anymore. I was that way too. I finally realized that there's people not wearing a shirt that are in much worse shape than me, so I finally said screw it. As I've been growing up, I found it more uncomfortable to wear a shirt while swimming. It sort of sticks to you, and it's annoying to get it off. One day, I forgot my shirt, so I just swam without it. It was great. English. I used to be terrible and my accent still sucks sometimes, but after more than 20 years of practice and a bachelor degree from an English university, now I'm quite proud to be bilingual. Nothing wrong with having an accent for languages other than your mother tongue. You always have an accent, mate. even in your maternal language. Stay calm around women I find attractive. I used to get anxious and even avoid. In contrast, I now find it easier to stay calm around women who find me attractive. It used to be that the slightest hint they like me would cause an irrational panic. I had PTSD from a past abusive relationship, almost a year of therapy later, and I still get nervous, but it's kinda an excited nervous, rather than sheer unbridled panic and potential flashbacks. Do you know beforehand that they find you attractive or can pick it up? I think most guys, myself included, can be crap at picking up when a girl is into them. Not really at the present, not since February, but going to the cinema alone. First time I ever did, back in 2016. It felt weird tbh. Even had a mother ask me if I was waiting for anyone when I saw Kong Skull Island, but now I actually prefer it most times. It means I don't have to worry about scheduling with a friend on what day's best. Don't get me wrong, I have still gone with friends, but 90-95% of the time I go alone. I can do whatever I want before or afterwards, whether to look around the shops or just go straight home. I heard going to the movies alone is an experience everyone should have. I can't wait until things start opening up more, so I can give it a try. Say no. A lot of people struggle with saying no. I used to struggle with it as well. I got a lot of advice to be unapologetic. You don't owe anyone anything. You don't have to give a reason to say no. That is stupid advice. That is obviously going to harm your relationships. Instead, I realized that most people are reasonable. I present my case in a way that the other person can understand and explain why I need to say no. Almost everyone understands and does not want to put you in a difficult situation. If the other person is not reasonable, there is no point explaining further. Then you just gotta say no. But you need to try to explain first. Thank you for this. I still struggle tremendously with saying no, and it's got me into things in the past that I look at now and regret. I try to tell myself, like you mentioned, that you don't owe anyone anything. But I just can't help but to be scared to hurt someone's feelings. It took my best friend's mom sitting me down and telling me that it was okay to tell people no, and that I really needed to start. I never said no to anyone, often putting myself out or at a disadvantage in doing so. I was in my mid-20s when I realized that many of my peers were thriving and I was so far behind because of how many important things I put off or neglected to help other people over the years. I'm the fat girl in the gym. For my entire adulthood, I would hold back my workouts for fear of jiggling, sweat, boobs bouncing, heavy breathing. I get red in the face with any exertion. Finally, I got some quality clothes that fit properly, really good bras that keep the girls in check, and now I'm really proud of how hard I work. I sweat through my clothes every workout. My hair gets soaked. I love leaving drips underneath my heavy bag. Now my coaches use me as an example of what to do if you want higher intensity in the exercise we are doing. I love it. Only 2 more hours until class starts. I used to be super self-conscious going to the gym. I'd always be the smallest guy there surrounded by a bunch of juiced out meatheads. They're putting up multiple 45-pound plates while I'm struggling with 25 lbs. Eventually I realized those meatheads actually encourage you for being there, and they had to start somewhere too, and chances are, if you need some advice on something, they are more than willing to help. Changed my life when I figured this out. The guys at my gym helped me so much. Went from 135 pounds maximum on the bench 5 years ago to maximuming 270 pounds on the bench as of last month. I could not have done it without their advice. Wrapping a tampon in a public bathroom. Lol. The differences in experiences here are great. I definitely used to pretend I was unwrapping a tampon, so it didn't sound like I was just waiting for the other person to leave so I could poop. I cannot poop or even let out a fart in a public restroom. I also can't start peeing if someone else is there, mainly for the fear of a fart popping out cause that only ever happens to me in public restrooms. I avoid them at all costs. But I also get pee shy if my dog is staring at me at home. Though after 4 years together, I very openly do my bathroom deeds in front of my significant other or with the door open. Cause the dog's gonna try to come in anyways. Rather him not knock the whole door down trying to accompany me. Paint/draw and then share it with strangers. I did not grow up with art and had absolutely no confidence in attempting it. During our quarantine this spring, I taught myself how to watercolor and draw birds, and am now selling prints and stickers, and donating 100% of the profits to bird conservation groups. I just love birds. You're saving the dinosaurs. Eating alone in restaurants, at least before COVID. I used to be self-conscious about it, but now I don't give it a second thought. Life is too short to not have the meal you want, particularly if it's going to perk up your mood on account of worrying about what the people around you might think. Enjoy yourself and what you do. When traveling for work, often I have no choice but to eat alone, common for business travelers. No one cares. It's great. I bring my headphones and listen to an audiobook. Now, pre-COVID, I do it all the time even in town. When I see someone I know, I'll make conversation, but honestly I prefer my book haha. Talking on the phone. I was crippling shy as a teenager, to the point I'd have to script what I was going to say before doing something like phoning for an appointment. Then age 21 I got a job in a call center and nowadays I can phone anyone with ease, though I'd never say it's my favorite thing. I'll even complain about shoddy customer service on the phone now. Flood therapy works. Dude, I was exactly on the same boat as you. As a teenager I was too shy to order a meal through phone etc. Then I got the job in call center and I don't have that problem anymore. Dance. Whenever the opportunity arose through puberty and early adult life, I'd just be standing in the corner, too shy to do anything, and caring a lot about how I looked to people, sidestepping shyly if I felt forced, to the point of getting nervous about the fact that I wasn't doing anything. Then, one weekend at a music festival, something clicked that felt completely out of the blue, and I started flailing my arms around and making the dumbest moves to the sound of the music, and I had the best time in my life. If there is a party, I'm dancing all night with everyone and anyone, and it looks like crap, but I'll be damned if my white ass isn't having the best time. I have been looking for this comment. 5 years ago, whenever I had to dance I feel awkward and self-conscious. But now dancing is one of the things I enjoy the most. I just dance like nobody's watching and enjoy my time. Driving. Still cautious and safe, but less terrified of making mistakes and freaking out. That and driving any new cars. If someone asked me to drive a truck/SUV at age 18 I would have said no way, but now I have a little experience and wouldn't think anything if someone asked me to now. Yes, I used to feel terrified thinking I could just suddenly turn the wheel in any direction at high speed and kill my family in less than a second. Now that I did it and survived I know it's not that scary. Saying I dislike football. It's like a cardinal sin in the UK. During middle school I pretended to like it to try and fit in. Picked a team, Arsenal, tried to watch games. Made me dislike it even more. Through secondary school and into my first job, when I said I didn't like football it was usually a cue for some form of harassment. Not a real man, what are you, gay, etc. Now I'm happy to say it and couldn't give a toss how it's received. Did you see that ludicrous display last night? The thing about Arsenal is they always try to walk it in. Being out in the woods. I was born and raised in New York City, so even though I really wanted to experience these things it always seemed so inaccessible and scary. But one afternoon, after a crappy day I just said frick it, did some research, and found a trail that was within an hour of the city and for beginners. I wasn't able to finish the trail that day, it felt like it went on forever, and I chickened out thinking I would get lost. But I still enjoyed the experience, and decided I would do it again. It wasn't until a year later I was able to fully hike a trail, and get the payoff of the amazing views. I got really into it, and learned more skills like navigating, and wilderness survival over time. Now even though I'm a born and raised city girl I'm also an avid hiker. camper, kayaker, backpacker, and overall feel more at home in the mountains than I do in this concrete jungle. In India, you're looked down upon if you listen to Hindi music, read Hindi books, or are a fan of Bollywood. Growing up, I felt the need to completely westernize myself, listen to English music exclusively, only watch Hollywood movies, the whole shebang. Since last few years, I've been embracing my native language and my culture. It's taken a lot of rediscovering my past, amazing movies I missed out on because I was too cool to watch them, Hindi music that I was too cool to play on the speaker. It's liberating to embrace your roots. Speaking in public. I got a job in sales that required me to give presentations in front of people. After my first solo presentation, the customer actually told me how crappy I was and how I would never make a good salesman. I went back to my car and threw up. Now I give presentations multiple times a day, and I'm so used to it that I can devote most of my attention to gauging audience reaction, allowing me to adjust the pitch and emphasize or de-emphasize different topics based on their interest. That original customer got demoted about a year ago, which was pretty sweet. Now I deal mostly with his former assistant, who got his old job.